The British transfer record was smashed on deadline day, as an unprecedented January transfer window ended with Premier League clubs having spent £2.8 billion during the 2022-2023 season. Chelsea's €121 million, £107 million deal for Benfica's Argentina midfielder Enzo Fernandez, once confirmed, will take the total expenditure by top-flight clubs in January to a record-breaking £815 million. More than £275 million was spent on deadline day alone, before the window closed for English clubs at 11 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time on Tuesday. The deadline day outlay was an increase of 83% on the previous January record of £150 million, set in 2018. And, while an all-time high season expenditure across both the summer and winter windows was guaranteed after a record of £1.9 billion was set in September, the final total is double the previous record of £1.4 billion in 2017. The 2018 winter record spend of £430 million by Premier League clubs had also already been smashed prior to Tuesday's deadline day, with the eventual total in 2023 an increase of 90% on that and almost triple the previous January window, £295 million, according to financial services firm Deloitte. The Premier League's financial dominance in Europe increased to the highest proportion ever reported, as the spending by English top-flight clubs accounted for 79% of the total across Europe's Big Five football leagues, where January spending fell by 35% from 2022 to €255 million, £225 million. Indeed, Chelsea spent more in January, around £288 million, than the combined total of all clubs in the Bundesliga, La Liga, Serie A and League One. Among English Football League clubs, spending rose to £25 million, up from £20 million in the previous winter window. However, just 3% of Premier League clubs' total outlay, £25 million, was spent on acquiring players from the EFL, with a record 85% spent on talent playing outside the UK. Tim Bridge, lead partner in Deloitte's Sports Business Group, said, "The record spending by Premier League clubs this season is beyond anything that we've seen before. Premier League clubs have outspent those within the rest of Europe's Big Five leagues by almost 4-1 in this transfer window, allowing them to hold on to their key players, while attracting top talent from overseas. However, while there is a clear need to invest in squad size and quality to retain a competitive edge, there will always be a fine balance to strike between prioritizing success on pitch and maintaining financial sustainability. The decline in spending across the English football system is likely to be of growing concern for members of the EFL, and could further fuel the debate around distributing finances more evenly across the pyramid." What deals were done on deadline day? Chelsea's late capture of Fernandes was the headline deal on deadline day as the Blues smashed the British transfer record. Previously, the £100 million Manchester City paid for Jack Grealish in 2021 to land the 22-year-old World Cup winner. Elsewhere, Tottenham announced the signing of fullback Pedro Porro from Sporting Lisbon on loan until the end of the season, with an obligation to buy for €45 million, £40 million, while defenders Matt Doherty, permanent, and Jed Spence, loan, were allowed to leave. Premier League leaders Arsenal strengthened with the £12 million acquisition of Italy midfielder Jorginho from Chelsea, while fourth-placed Manchester United completed the loan signing of Austrian midfielder Marcel Sabitzer from Bayern Munich. Southampton ended the window with a late flurry of activity, completing a club record £22 million deal for Ghana winger Kamaldeen Sulemana, as well as signing Nigeria striker Paul Onwuachu. Bournemouth signed Ukraine centre-back Ilya Zabani for a reported £24 million, and Ivory Coast midfielder Hamd Traoré on an initial loan before a £20 million summer move. Fellow promoted side Nottingham Forest were also busy, completing deals for Atletico Madrid's Brazilian defender Felipe and Newcastle midfielder John Joe Shelvey for undisclosed fees, while Paris Saint-Germain goalkeeper Keylor Navas arrived on loan. Leicester City signed defender Harry Souter from Stoke City in a deal which could rise to £20 million with add-ons, and Crystal Palace signed France youth international Nauru Hamada from Stuttgart for €11 million, £9.7 million. A surprise high-profile Premier League departure saw Manchester City fullback João Cancelo join Bayern Munich on loan for the rest of the season, with a €70 million, £61.5 million option to join permanently in the summer. What were the biggest transfers of the January window? Chelsea's deal for Fernandes was a fitting end to another astonishing window. Amid another remarkable spending spree, the Blues agreed a €89 million deal with Shakhtar Donetsk for 22-year-old Ukraine forward Mikhailo Mudryk earlier in January. In addition to their deadline day signing of Jorginho, Arsenal signed Belgium striker Leandro Trossard from Brighton for £21 million plus add-ons, along with Jakub Kiwior from Serie A side Spezia for €20 million, £17.6 million. Elsewhere, Liverpool agreed a deal worth €40-50 million, €35.4 million to €44.3 million, to sign Netherlands forward Cody Gakpo, 23, from Dutch club PSV Eindhoven. And Newcastle United's signing of 21-year-old Anthony Gordon from Everton could eventually be worth £45 million. There was big money spent among the league's current bottom-half sides too, with Leeds United signing French forward Jorginho Rutter, 20, from Hoffenheim for a club record €40 million, £36 million. Bournemouth also recruited Burkina Faso winger Dango Ouattara from Lorient for around £20 million, and Leicester paid £17 million for defender Victor Christensen. Following the £15 million sale of Danny Ings to West Ham, Aston Villa signed teenage Colombia striker John Duran from Chicago Fire for £18 million. Big movers Chelsea dominate Premier League spending. It has been an extraordinary couple of transfer windows for Chelsea since the club's £4.25 billion sale to a consortium led by American investor Todd Boehly last May. And it looked that way even before an eye-watering amount was finally agreed with Benfica for Fernandes late into deadline day. It is the latest bold statement of intent in the still early days of Chelsea's new era under Boehly, which has seen more than £550 million spent on new signings. Their spending in January alone exceeded £300 million on 8 new players, with Mudryk, Malo Gusto, £30.7 million, Benoit Badiashile, £35 million, Noni Madueke, £30.7 million, Andre Santos, £18 million, and David Datro Fofana, £8 million to £10 million, all also added on permanent deals. Meanwhile, talented 23-year-old Portugal forward João Felix moved to Stamford Bridge on loan from Atletico Madrid at a cost of €11 million, £9.7 million.